But Nocturnes have a couple new faces too. They got Freak and Mohesi, who come from Synthetic, and who were on the I believe who were on the Seven Spades roster that competed in CCS that got kind of no, Mohesi was. I don't think Freak was. That got destroyed. Freak has been in CL before. He was on Ape until that whole fiasco happened. He didn't do very well, so he's going to be looking to have a resurgence here as the first ban comes through on Consulate. It's going to be Thatcher and Hibana.
Yeah, Crow, I know you and I were a bit split on our predictions. I went with Nocturnes because coming from last stage still feels wrong in my soul to just pick Aqualix because last stage was kind of ridiculous. But I also know that Nocturnes, they've been putting in the work. They've been grinding. I know they got a new manager who's been really trying to grind with them and make sure they're putting in the scrims and getting in the practice. And unfortunately for them, the VOD review isn't going to get them that far like our analyst desk highlighted here. The final two bans, the Maestro and the Valkyrie, pretty typical here for a map like Consulate, especially the Valkyrie, because really the way to win on this map on defense is to throw a couple of outcams outside and then lunge yourself out every window you can. And at least we're not going to see the intel guiding those jump outs, although we may see those jump outs anyway. Also, the Evil Eye's taken off the board, really, especially on this basement site. The first one we are going to see, it seems. Cafeteria and Garage, you don't have that plant denial that those Evil Eyes allow you to get. You can place those right next to that white van, actually shooting those bolts of electricity underneath the tires, underneath the van itself, and provides a good bit of that plant denial that we're not going to be able to see used, at least in this map today. And in terms of operator selection already, we are going to take things back and keep things pretty basic. So far today, we've seen a lot of Flores. We've seen a lot of creative strats. Even a Tachanka came out in our last map, but right now we've got a pretty standard selection when it comes to Consulate.
Yeah, and it does look like they want to roam a bit. They've got the Pulse, who perhaps can lurk inside of lobby, supporting those top floor roamers, or he can stay downstairs. Oh yeah, he can stay downstairs because I forgot the pulse scanner actually sees through both floors of Consulate. We've got the Echo to support as well, so after the roam has successfully wasted enough time, you can fall back on those yokais and the smoke grenades to delay out the push. I'm glad we finally get to see how Aqualix's roles work out as well, at least on the attack on this map. It looks like Discover's going to be on the hard support, with Gasher and Vladder duo entrying, rethinking on the soft breach, and curiously enough, Kento on the Nomad. I remember back in T3 when I casted Tyler, he was typically on one of the two entry roles. So to see him on flank watch is definitely a little bit odd. Maybe he'll be on a more aggressive role on defense. Who knows? I do know that Gasher loves his Jackal, so he's going to be helping Vladder hunt down those roamers, of which there are a couple. But already, Freak, who is playing in Visa, is going to catch Kento just kind of walking in, and that's a very early kill for Nocturnes.
Well, looks like we'll see how they can continue this clear without Kento, of course, and without those air jabs to lock off those flanks. Having Gasher using this Jackal's tracker is quite helpful, as they've already found the position of several of these roamers who have now been forced to fall back to the site. But they really haven't done much with that. Everyone on Nocturnes is very much alive and is very comfortable to sit back and wait for Aqualix to make a move. We'll see Rethinkin, who will begin the vertical play on the Garage and possibly pressure to get that breach opened up. But right now, just trying to suss out anyone who might be tucked behind the white van, tucked back here by that yellow pillar. One player is actually sitting there, but Rethinkin just hasn't quite established that angle just yet. With only 60 seconds to go, they do have to get moving here. Gasher actually going to take the time to start droning out from the yellow stairs here, as this attack really does need to start looking its way towards this basement floor, considering there are several players not on the site itself that need to be dealt with. There's goes one, as Vladder will take Freakin off the board, and that's going to be a 4v4 now with 40 seconds left.
Vladder with the first response for his team, being one of the most mechanically gifted players I've ever had the privilege of casting, so Hopefully Vladar has a day. You're definitely going to need it, as he is one of the players that Aqualix, in fact, all of Gasher and Vladar's teams, has relied upon to get a majority of those frags. But here comes the anti-plant. The smoke grenade's missing. The Echo drone is way too late. What just happened? Discover just got the plant completely for free. Every bit of utility thrown at him just completely missed. Exod is going to be able to find him rotating out the breach, but Gasher still watching from above finds Lackey. It's a 3v3 post plant on probably one of the hardest sites in the game to retake. Rethinking gets one from above, can't find the second as the pulse finds him, but Exod will actually get a second. That leaves it on just Vladar. Outside the breach in a 1 versus 2. If Exod and FICO can stack up, they could potentially find this round, and now they know exactly where he is. Exod goes down, and Vladar can't find the second. FICO will get the clutch. They actually retake Garage, and somehow Nocturnes are able to take round number 1.
I mean, wow. That was a messy one, but seems that they got it done. Messy from both teams. I mean, Nocturnes having the yokai drone inches away from where the bomb went down and doing nothing to stop it, that's mistake numero uno. But then you have Aqualix, who try to play that post plant and are just really just seemed like they're out of their element there. You have the vertical play, which is half the battle. You had the player outside playing passive. That's the other half of the battle, both of which kind of just crumbled away. The player upstairs could not win the gunfight. That was a bit of an issue. And then when it came down to it, it was a 2v1. A couple of gunfights went Nocturne's way, and they did a good job of playing together and making sure to secure that kill onto Vladar. Sure, it wasn't clean, but Nocturnes will take the first round in a round that looked like Aqualix had their hands all over.
You could even hear at the end of the round, I started stumbling over my words because I was so unexpected. I mean, that was going to happen. I mean, even then, Vladar lit up FICO to, like 1 HP. If he had just landed one more shot, that could have been it. I'm very confused as to why Vladar didn't play, you know, maybe a little bit more passive, wait for the ping on the outside player and just swing and pre-fire. Instead, he took the aggressive stance and gave FICO that little bit of extra edge he needed to win the round. We also saw a weird vertical play from Rethinking. After he got the first kill, he just kind of, like, stood over his whole reloading, which was kind of weird. Now Nocturnes are bringing out an interesting strat. It's a castle clash strat combined with a mute Mozzie for the top floor. We've seen this kind of castle setup before, though it's not always accompanied by a clash. But, you know, it's nothing brand spanking new. Aqualix, we'll see if they are prepared to deal with a hold like this. Mainly revolves, again, around this kind of yellow and front desk hold that the clash and mute are assuming. Exod is, of course, holding inside of... Never mind. Exod was holding inside a projector before Vladar on the con window just fried him, I guess. I don't quite know how that happened. Maybe Exod just kind of exposed his side a little bit too much to that window, but hey, that's the projector player dead. That is a lot of space that Aqualix have just created.
They've really freed up this pretty easy entry at this point, and yeah, there's a good bit of intel probably coming from the side of Nocturnes, but there's no one in a position to do much about it. Sight has now been relinquished, and it's just about Aqualix just getting this bomb down. Lackey, hoping to pull something back, will go for the run out, gets the kill, but losing his teammate Freak in the process as Discover gets that kill on the Thermite as the projector pressure continues. Now, Mohesi is here and gaining a lot of intel. They've got the bulletproof camera, they've got the clash, they know exactly what's happening, but are people in a position to stop it? Vladar doing a great job of locking off this rotation. Mohesi has no business crossing in front of that, but FICO is going to get a very good shot onto the repelled player and turn this one into a 3v3. Great shot from Lackey. That's a double kill. FICO gets one through the smoke, drops Rethinking. It's going to be all up to Gasher. Triple kill from Lackey as he finishes off his teammates down, and Gasher now gets one, but has to find two more. Staring a clash in the face is never a fun way to finish out the round, but Gasher cannot do anything but spray and hope for this right kill. Where's the support from FICO? There it is. The shotgun comes out, and the round goes Nocturne's way. Another messy one, but the defense is going to pull it out.
That kill onto Vladar was the pivot point.
Massive.
That completely shut down Aqualix. FICO being able to tuck himself in that tiny little corner out of the way. Vladder did not know he was there. And once Vladder dies, that's your entire connector cut. Gone. Just like that. Aqualix tried to go for the site rush from the smokes, but Lackey is playing behind the Clash like a mirror window. There's no chance for Discover to try and make his way in. Another player gets sprayed down through the smoke because he's just trying to walk through the door, which is very, very slim bottleneck. I mean, all you got to do is spray and pray at the doorway. You don't have to do much aiming or much predicting on that one. And from there, Gasher is alone. I mean, sure, he's able to get one refrag on Lackey. He didn't know FICO was still tucked in the corner. Either he didn't know or he wasn't comfortable taking the close fight through the doorway against a mute, especially if the mute had the shotgun out. And he missed his opportunity on the kill with the Clash after he got the melee. He didn't do enough damage. Nocturnes will salvage another round that they, I mean, maybe should have lost. But again, that kill on the Vladder was a game changer. Now they're going to go on to their third site. They will decide to go to lobby. For now, avoiding archives.
Part of me wonders how that would have gone if Aqualix had acted a bit quicker. I mean, in the early part of that round, they got a kill onto the projector player, and we saw an overview of the entire top floor, and it seemed that there was pretty much no Nocturnes pressure, like actively holding what would have been an onslaught of just 3-4 players just jumping on it and taking control. Yes, it may have been a little bit premature, a lot of different intel they would have wanted to gather before they actually made that push, but the longer they took, the more opportunities they gave Nocturnes to pull something back. And as you highlighted, they did exactly that. They got the necessary kills that they needed, and they took the round accordingly. We're going to see how Aqualix want to change something up now. Are they going to speed things up, or are they going to keep things around the same pace? They should know roughly what they're dealing with. A standard top floor hold to assist this lobby and piano objective. You've got Exod with a lot of melee holes on this top floor to lock down CO at the moment, while you have the rest of Aqualix now beginning their take from admin. Discover using that exothermic charge to open up that rotate, I believe, over towards bathroom now. So that'll free up that closet rather towards printer. But nobody's positioned over there on Nocturnes. Right now, they've started to retreat. They're over on this fully west side of the top floor, and 3 players on that first floor instead.
They know exactly where this Jaeger is. You saw the yellow pings onto Exod hiding behind the desk. Vladder is watching for this kill, but it's actually Gasher to find him peeking over from S2. So that's a good pick. That's one of the roamers, but it comes about a minute 40 into the round, and Freak is still upstairs, and he'll land a very nice headshot onto Vladder, nearly finding a second on the rethinking as well, but doesn't hold down the trigger long enough to kill the sledge. Freak isn't looking to back off just yet. In fact, his hatch is not open, but he actually gets the down on the Gasher. Gasher, you've got to win those, but no! Freak gets a little bit greedy, and as he tries to finish off the Jackal, he's collapsed upon by the support of Kento. 4 versus 3, but Gasher and Rethinkin are very lit up, and look who's still on the board. There's a C4 from FICO, and the Echo drones from Mo. So Aqualix, even if they get onto the bomb site, the plant attempt itself could still be a dangerous scuffle. Lackey playing inside of Spiral, looking to come up towards lobby at any moment. Discover positioned outside the main door with some support. Smokes start to go through. Default cam has been shot. And here's the initial plant attempt from Discover. C4 hatch open though. And here it is from FICO, but it's actually shot in midair by Gasher. The Echo drones haven't been dealt with though, and there's Lackey's flank netting a single kill. He's lit up for his trouble, and they know where he's coming from. But again, here's the Echo drones. Mo's been down though inside of bathroom. An aggressive play from Rethinkin works out, but can he cover the plant? He does on the Lackey, but oh, above! FICO gets it! No, it's too late! The plant has already gone down. A narrow miss from the mute, and now it's a post-plant. The only thing FICO has going for him right now is that the plant was just recently completed, and Rethinkin is in the building. Both last of these attackers, very low HP. Here comes the push from FICO. I'm not sure if there is any drones in the bomb site, but now that he knows where the diffuser is, the attackers know where he's coming from, and Rethinkin finishes him off. Aqualix able to take the plant, surprisingly, despite the influx of utility and manpower from the defense, and the attackers will take their first point.
God, that round was incredibly back and forth. I mean, it started with Freak on the top floor, getting 1 kill, and looking like he was going to get the second in a moment that they are definitely going to wish they had back. Re-peeking the angle twice, missing a bullet on the down player twice, peeked it a 3rd time and paid the price for it. That is something they are not going to want memorialized on a Challenger League VOD. Unlucky for them, it is. But the rest of the round kind of unfolded in a similar messy fashion. It's a word I've used now 3 rounds in a row, but these are just so back and forth. Neither team maintaining the advantage that they establish at any given moment. Aqualix, they've gotten the opening pick, I think, every round now, and then quickly lost that momentum just as quickly. It is astonishing how Nocturne's ability is to just bring themselves back in a round, but in the same way, they've also missed a couple of crucial steps. They didn't have anybody covering the Echo, who was using those yokai drones, had 2 in perfect position to deny that plant until the end of the round, but then you allowed Rethinking to just walk on into the bathroom and claim that kill. That's something that you can't do. I mean, a couple of mishaps there from both teams, but this time, it was Aqualix to come out with the round at the end of the day. Yeah. But man, these have been back and forth, and finally, looks like Nocturnes will start things off in their favor. What is happening here? A very aggressive push. Lackey gets 2. Mohesi and I think that was Exod gets another, and all of a sudden, 4 players are dead. You've only got 1 remaining. It's Vladder upstairs, no teammates in sight, against 5 people. What just happened?
It's what we call the Gasher special. He called a rush, and well, it didn't work. Vladder will be able to get it down onto Freak. There's someone attacking his backside, though, and Mo will get the final frag. It's a flawless round for Nocturnes, as Aqualix just all kind of funnel into their sights.
Well, that was something.
Not much to say about that round, other than Aqualix sent it down a hatch, and there were like 3 people from Nocturnes looking at it, and the round ended.
Well, Nocturnes take those.
Yeah.
They are happy to take that one. I guess the theme continues of scrappy back and forth rounds, but I guess that one wasn't as back and forth. But scrappy it was. Interesting, unique. These words us casters like to use for sometimes what lay people would call idiocy. Hard to tell the difference sometimes. But a good effort, nonetheless. Dropping down, trying to catch Nocturnes off guard. That was the plan. But a plan that didn't work out at the end of the day. Good thing is they get a little bit of a reset here. They can go back to a site that they found early success in that very first round. Garage and Cafeteria, a site where Nocturnes allowed the bomb to go down a bit unexpectedly, but then pulled off a miracle with a fantastic retake attempt. I think if this one were to go down in Nocturne's way, they just wouldn't let that bomb go down in the surprise fashion it did. But if Aqualix were to get a do-over, I think they just play that retake a little bit stronger.
Yeah, the only thing that I'd be a little bit concerned about, though, is that the only reason why Aqualix got that plant off is because Nocturnes whiffed heavy on their anti-plant. I don't suppose Exod is going to let that happen again. Or maybe, you know, Mo's Echo drones are going to be closer in range to the bomb site to help support his team this time. But either way, we do see one change from Aqualix, and that is Kento is not going to simply walk into Viso with no drone. He sees Freak on the Cade, an operator we hadn't seen from Nocturnes on the garage round prior. He was on the Mozzie, which allowed the breach to be opened for free. He'll get droned out over towards Tellers, and Kento is very cautious about pushing in, considering what happened last time. More drones are going to come in to just confirm the position of Freak yet again. Rethinking opening up above him, but I believe the Cade is long gone. So Aqualix have spent about a minute clearing him. Freak will get away, but now they have the top 2 floors to themselves.
We think it'll take quick work of that Hex camera, making sure whatever intel the Nocturnes have on those top 2 floors is limited. Thankfully for them, they still have the pulse in play and the pseudo wall hacks that the heartbeat sensor allows. We'll identify, I believe that is the position of Kento, who's now droning out over on these Visa stairs. Can't really see for this position because, of course, that floor is fully made of concrete. But you do have that intel, and you can communicate to any potential roamer if they want to make a bit of an aggressive move. Doesn't look like that's going to happen right now, as everyone will remain on this bottom floor, but at least they know that there is pressure coming from multiple directions. You've got some on the yellow stairs, you now have this garage breach open, and knowing that Kento and it seems that Rethinking are over on that piano side of things, you do have to be wary of a possible flank at any moment. The vertical play beginning, something that Rethinking did exceptionally well in the previous round, but this time, the opening picks, now 2, will go in the favor of Nocturnes. Mohesi and Free could get 2 between them. Vladder is quick to answer and removes the Kaid, and that's going to take off a C4 from the board, but you still have the players you do really need to hold down in this post plant, or as the plant goes down. You still have the yokai, you still have those smokes, and you've got this intel as they begin what looks like an execute from Aqualix.
The yokai is just watching and waiting. The smoke not leaving the thermite unscathed, though, and it'll actually catch him on the way out. Discover's been down. There's no one near him to pick up that diffuser. Aqualix looking like they got to go for the frags, but Vladder's been cut down. It's just Rethinking above. He's going to have to descend the yellow staircase, and Nade will go out to dispose of the bulletproof camera, but it doesn't really matter. Good headshot on the Lackey hiding behind the shield, but it's a Pyrrhic victory as Nocturnes take round number 5. They will extend their lead 4-1 as Aqualix drain out the clock.
Well, I said, how would it go if Nocturnes could do it again? And it would simply be denying that plant. And they did it perfectly. They had every element in place they needed. A really good yokai drone. I'm not sure. It didn't look like it was on the ceiling. It could have been positioned on something else. It was just well played all around by Nocturnes. Not only did they have the yokai drones denying the plant and giving them that intel, but they used one element of that utility game to help with another. They have the yokai drones in place, and they made the calls to allow the smoke to throw those on target, perfectly using them to down the thermite, remove that planter, drop the diffuser, do all they had to do to shut down that execute before it could really get started. Really well played. As a team, they played that one as coordinated as I think we've seen them so far on this map. Some of those elements they've struggled with, they're shaking them off, and they're getting cleaner now round after round. But in their final defensive one, they do need to take on Lobby and Piano, a site that they were unable to defend the last time around. They did have a lot of that plant denial in place, but when it came down to actually utilizing that appropriately, a couple of missteps occurred. They're going to ditch the Echo this time around in favor of the Mozzie and the Aruni coming out here. So they still have that plant denial and the information that comes with these 3 C4s, but it's going to come in a little bit of a different fashion.
They're also doing a basement hold, something that we didn't see last time they defended Lobby. Now, Aqualix did win this lobby attack last time, but it was against a different strategy. Can they keep it consistent? Their first task is clearing Freak out of admin, who is going to go for the patented Gunner C4 over the corner desk, right through the window, looking to catch Rethinking off guard. C4 goes out, but it does not do any damage. Rethinking more than ready for it, nearly catches Freak on his retreat to paper, but is only able to land 1 bullet into the back of the Mozzie before Freak successfully gets away. There's no holes in the long wall either, so whoever's on the suicide balk can't collapse upon him. Freak actually spots a drone, Rethinking for a second, but was aiming down at the floor, so he can't flick up to the sledge. But Rethinking is going to swing in, and Freak doesn't actually know it. Rethinking's going to be able to get that first frag. Freak goes down within about a minute with really no work done at all, and now Aqualix, they've got that top floor.
Seems that Mohesi doesn't mind the control that Aqualix do actually have. He'll still get aggressive for a moment, prone under, I believe that's the antechamber window, but he'll back off and now take up another aggressive position on one of these piano windows. Seems that they have a good idea of where Aqualix are coming from, and they're going to actually get aggressive and swing on it because they do have that intel. Lackey taking another aggressive fight. FICO now retreating below the objective to provide as much intel as they can. But right now, this one has shifted into a waiting game. You've lost Freak, of course, so you don't have as much of this control as you'd like, but you have Mohesi, who's looking to go for a bit of a retake. Not much damage done onto Rethink, and about 50 is found. FICO was the one credited with the next kill as Discover is dropped. The Thermite now removed from play. Exod, he took a lot of damage in that skirmish, but he will remain alive and keep this one even in a 4v4 as we cross that 45-second mark.
Mo has kind of cautiously fallen a little bit back, but that's going to allow Kento to just drop right in, and down goes Exod. Piano control in the hands of the attackers as they all start to flood in. Gasher now on the Zophie instead of Ladder. He knows that there's a downstairs hold, so he's going to start planting on the blacktop on the stage. It's going to be completely unabated. A nade will flush Lackey down, but Mo does find Rethinkin. But in the meantime, it's now a post plant. FICO looking to retake upstairs. Vladder waiting and watching Spiral. Does he know there's a player coming from bottom Spiral, though? 30 seconds left now. Here comes Mo on the run out. He's going to get air jabbed, and Kento collects the kill. FICO stuck upstairs. Lackey separated downstairs. Pistol out. Doesn't expect the prone. Gasher wins his fight. At least FICO all alone. He's since dropped the piano hatch, but there's a player outside. One in bathroom, and it's the one outside to find him. Kento with an important 3K and an important round for Aqualix to finish the half 2-4.
Well, they got their job done at the end of the day. They got their 2 lobby rounds that they needed. Totally within their right to take 4 on the defensive half. Consulate's one of those maps that kind of goes all over the place. Sometimes it can be attacker-sided, sometimes defensive, but generally you see a good mix of the 3. But in round number 7, this will be our first time to see both of these new teams and how they really shape up in their coordination on the other side of the coin. My eyes are on Nocturnes here and what they can make happen on the attacking side, considering that some of those coordination issues in those first few early rounds on defense may translate even more punishingly to the attacking side. They're going to bring out 2 operators as well that require more coordination than ever. They're going to bring out the Yana and the Lion, both of these operators, rather than the more typical singular one of these 2. But they've got a lot of intel as a result. You've got that EE1D scan that allows you to freeze defenders in their place, and you've got that Gemini drone allowing you to clear out those positions before you actually take those fights. One big difference from Oculus we're seeing on the defensive side of things, that's the Mira, something that I don't think we saw enough of from Nocturnes, considering she was up and on the table this entire time. So Aqualix, they are not going to let her go unpicked.
Yeah, Mira can be a very useful operator depending on how your holds are, and Vladder is, well, he's spawn peeking. He's not going to be able to find anyone, though. No one's going to take any shots back at him. The drone comes in from FICO. So unfortunately for us, we don't get to see a spawn peek just yet. Gasher is also on Pulse, an operator that he donned many a time in the T3 scene, and he's going to be roaming around the basement, perhaps supporting Vladder above, and looking for those C4 picks. He can work in tandem with both Kento and Discover to find some early kills, and Rethinkin is actually tasked with holding down Yellow, but for now, Nocturnes are being a little bit slow about this clear. I believe they just opened the garage? No, they didn't. Okay. Exod is now going for the breach. He's trying to. There's the Zofia breach from above. It'll take out 1 Electro Claw. And there you go. 2 of the panels from Garage will be open. That is a rather early breach here from Nocturnes, and now they can focus on clearing the rest of the map.
Mohesi is actually still sitting at this really long angle from outside. Won't be the first one to push into Piano. That's going to be Freak, who now works their way over towards the yellow stairs. Onslaught of pressure actually coming in through the garage, and the plant is going down under the cover of smoke, and no one is there to actually get the response. A couple of kills were found from Aqualix. They will win out in those engagements overall, but the plant is still down, and now we're in a post-plant situation with both Mohesi and Exod on these long angles outside. Kento goes down, Mohesi playing that well. Exod next fight taken with Vladder here. They've got the pings on both of them because they use the EE1D, and that's going to allow Mohesi to get another. Last player standing is Vladder, and he does not stand a chance. Nocturnes playing that extremely well. They saw an opening and they took that opportunity and they got that bomb down. And well, we saw the result just like that. Well played all around. They set up for that post plant. They knew that they may lose a few players in that initial skirmish, but when they did, they were fine with it and they got that bomb down and they got that round win.
Yeah, Aqualix, you know, despite winning out in the trade game, I don't know. It looked like they were just taking solo engagements once it came down to that 3v2. Like, Kento was just kind of in the middle by the black car with no support. Vladder and the Jaeger, who was Jaeger? I think Rethinking were watching completely separate angles when it came down to that 2v2. When you're working with a garage retake and the rest of the attackers are all outside, I mean, there's nothing you can do but peek together. You have to try and get the refrags. There's no other option. And they just took solo engagements and they lost them all because it's a Lion with a DMR from, 30 meters out. You're just not going to win that fight with a defending weapon. Aqualix, it really looked like I really thought they were going to win that round, but the fact that the Thermite was able to tuck in, Gasher was able to find one kill, not find the planter through the smoke. I thought Aqualix were going to be able to take that round with where the diffuser was, because it was right in tuck under the yellow stairs, and there was a little bit of that reinforcement that could still cover it. I mean, the only person that could actually have line of sight on said diffuser was the Lion. But, Aqualix just not playing together. I think that's something that, we've kind of seen it throughout this whole match so far, and hopefully it's something they fix going into the rest of the season.
Well, they took the timeout here, so they'll attempt to regroup. I think it's a perfect time for a timeout. You're not waiting until match point. You're making sure that maybe you can stop the momentum of Nocturnes here and you have time to recover that before you are in dire straits, and it is that last possible round you have to bring something back. So good use of that timeout. But now it comes down to actually seeing what they can do with it. They're not going to bother going back downstairs. They're going to quickly switch something up and go for lobby and press room now, the site that they were able to take 2 out of 2 on the attacking side. So clearly they've got this site somewhat under wraps. The question is, will it extend to the defense as well? We're seeing a pretty typical top floor hold right now. You've got 3 players up here at the moment. Gasher on the Alibi, which is always unique. You've got Rethinking on the Aruni, and I think you had one more player, Vladder, over in admin, possibly? No, he's now gone back downstairs to join the team. Yeah, he's over now, possibly rotating around benches and roaming around there. So right now, just 2 players on the top floor, and the other 3 extended all over this map, playing really loosely with this site, knowing that Nocturnes will likely have to go through that entire checklist before actually turning their attention to the objective itself.
It's actually kind of funny that Gasher's the one playing Alibi. I remember in the T3 scene, Vladder would literally do anything he could to get on Alibi. I guess Gasher said, "It's mine today." And interestingly enough, he's actually taking impacts instead of a shield. Usually the reason we see Alibi is for said shield. But, I don't know, deciding he doesn't want to take it. So, Nocturnes already clearing the horizontal, making sure that Visa, for the most part, is empty. But there is a player coming up the stairs, and it'll distract Mo enough so that Vladder can come around from the back and get the first pick onto the Lion. We've seen how well Nocturnes operate around this operator. Ah, whoops. I didn't mean to do that. And now without him, Nocturnes' aggression might be a little bit stunted. The flick from Freak not going to find Kento. FICO will trade back, but it's still a one-man advantage here for Aqualix with 1:20 left, and Nocturnes still have not taken this top floor.
Yeah, it looks like they might even try to avoid it completely. It looks like both Lackey and Exod have now rotated off this top floor, leaving FICO alone against 2 or even 3 defenders upstairs. And it looks like they may even be attempting an early plant. This could be a good call. The problem is you still have to deal with Discover, who's now going to eagerly swing out and actually pay the price for it. Good coverage from Lackey here, but now it's all about securing this plant. 1 second to go. There it is. Exod secures it, but he's going to get cut down. And no, actually the plant was not able to go down in those last few seconds. Looks like with a millisecond to go, that kill was found by Gasher. So great job there from Aqualix to shut that one down. Nocturnes, at least they tried to make an adaptation, realizing that the top floor hold was a little bit too much from them to circumvent completely. So they went with the tried and true, just kind of walk in and get the bomb down if they can. Unfortunately, this time, Aqualix were not going to let that happen.
Yeah, that would have been a much more dire situation had Gasher not, or whoever had not killed that planter. That was very scary getting down to the wire. They still had the top floor, but that smoke and the lack of coverage from above meant that Exod could tuck himself in. Yeah, no, it wasn't Gasher. I think it was Vladder. Because Vladder got 3 kills that round.
There were a couple people in position, so...
Yeah. Either way, Aqualix, the recovery. But, they're going to need another 2 if they want to tie Nocturnes. And they're going to need 4 in a row if they still want 3 full points. They're going to try and do it on Archives. They got the Pulse, and they got the Goyo, but they've only got 2 C4s on a site that is usually pretty heavily reliant upon it. So I'm interested to see how they play, especially with this Wamai and a shield setup that we don't normally see. Okay, so there's a Goyo shield top Visa, protected by an ADS. Where are the other shields? Or sorry, where is the other shield? Okay, it's right by Soda Machine, watching long. And of course, if they decide to push from admin side, the defenders can rotate back and they're covered by Rethinking. Okay, this is an interesting setup from Aqualix.
Yeah, something we don't see very often. It'd be fun to see exactly how Nocturnes get around this. Because although we can see the setup and know exactly where the shields are, walking into a setup for the first time as an attacking team requires a lot of coordination to figure out what you're dealing with and then, of course, deal with it. They're going to identify Rethinking's position and they're going to throw quite a few flashes and smokes at him to burn the ADS that he has at his feet, but no nade is going to follow that up. FICO either not in position or not eager to waste that piece of utility, but doesn't seem to matter as Freak and Mohesi will claim 2 opening kills. Here comes Freak. He just repels right on in, and Rethinking is caught sprinting across admin, says goodbye in this round, and now Aqualix says hello to their only hopes remaining in this round, Gasher and Discover, in a 2 versus 5 situation. You've got 2 C4s. You could always get a multi-kill there to bring something back, but now Gasher is on 1 HP as he tucks tail and runs towards the spiral staircase. Discover hoping to bring something back, rotates around towards benches, gets 1, as Freak will remove himself from this round. But a C4 from Gasher now wasted. Discover now hoping to save this round by rotating around to his teammate and denying this plant.
And they are marking the complete... Oh, no, it wasn't the complete wrong spot. The table is just covered by the silhouette. Discover will get the kill, but he's instantly traded by Lackey just coming down the staircase, and that leaves it all up to Gasher on 1 HP and nothing but a pulse shotgun. He can see the line, and he's going to try spraying through the floor, but it's not enough to kill Mohesi. It's just going to flush him off, and pretty soon, I imagine these attackers are going to try and go for the kill. Another plant attempt coming through from Mo. No answer from Gasher. He can get the angle. Actually, no way he can! All right, never mind. I lied. Gasher is actually able to kill him on top of that table, putting us in a 1 versus 2. Another plant attempt might come soon, but nope. The attackers are just going to go for the kill. This is the smart move. They know that Gasher is armed with only a shotgun. He's going to have the disadvantage when it comes to the fight, but he's actually rotated upstairs. But he's taking a long angle with the shotgun. Gasher, you can't peek that hole like that. Not from that far away, and not on 1 HP. The Sludge will find the final kill. It was doable from Gasher, but a little bit of poor positioning cost the round. And Aqualix, as a whole, that roam just fell apart, and it gives Nocturnes match point.
Nocturnes make it happen. They almost lost that momentum. And I was thinking, okay, maybe Aqualix bring this one back here, especially going to split, and especially given that creative setup we just saw. But it kind of fell apart with those 2 opening picks. I'm not exactly sure where those kills happened. I know Freak repelled on in to admin and just got 2 kills from there. But Mohesi found 1, I think from maybe the CO, the console office side of things. But just a really good pincer on that top floor allowed them to get 3 kills. Shut down that hot top floor hold that really was the core component of that unique setup that we saw. So, unfortunately for Aqualix, I mean, I always love to see unique setups work out, but not in this case, as Nocturnes did indeed do the challenging. They identified the setup they were coming across, and, well, they got those kills as a result. So now it's going to come down to, it seems, this top floor, as Aqualix are trying to find a bomb site that works for them a little bit more consistently. Lobby and Piano is still locked, unfortunately for them. So now they need to survive 3 rounds in a row to hope to send this one over to overtime, as Nocturnes now sit on match point.
Yeah, like you said, they're going to have to take a perfect site rotation, and they have not won a site other than Lobby. It's going to be a really tough task for Aqualix, and they're hoping that the least played bomb site on the map is going to be where they can, you know, start to mount a comeback. If they drop one single round, that'll give Nocturnes the full 3 points and start a roster who, you know, people like Cookies and myself thought was going to be, you know, stronger than the one in Stage 1 by a pretty wide margin. But so far, it's not looking like it. It looks like Freak and Mo have powered the team up, at least for this match. Of course, Nocturnes are going to start with an admin clear, and already Vladder going for an aggressive play will get taken out by Freak. Actually, no, it was Freak going for the aggressive play. He just tries to walk right up Spiral. Luckily, though, there is a refrag. Both Rethinkin and Kento pinch out that player, and Mo gets killed by Rethinkin for Rethinkin's second kill. So it's a 4 versus 3 Aqualix starting this round off right.
Nocturnes, I'm not sure what they just did there, but it looks like they're playing with a lot too much confidence for the position they are in. Sure, you're up 3 rounds, but considering that you haven't figured out a way to win lobby and press room on either side of things, you don't want to allow Aqualix the chance to go back there. That could quickly be 6-5 if you're not careful, given that you've already thrown away 2 of your players' lives here. Yeah, you got to pick onto Vladder. It's not out of the question, especially now that FICO is going to collect one onto Rethinkin, but these aggressive positions still need to be dealt with. Gasher now being pressured, the Aruni gate burned. He's going to un-ADS at the wrong time. Exod claims that kill, now goes for the plant. Kento on the swing, gets one, but not the second, as Lackey covers that plant perfectly. It's going to be up to Discover, and Lackey on the long angle will finish it out, and Nocturnes will do what I think a lot of people were not expecting them to pull off. They will beat Aqualix here in week 1, and they will take a pretty dominant win, 7-3.